What is going on, everybody? I hope that you are doing well, that you've had a great day, great morning, great night, wherever you might be listening from. And I am T. Shroom, in for the Investing Bros, and we're going to be having a really good show. I've got a bunch of crazy headlines here for you and a couple of reminders. Some reminders of the reality that we're in right now that you may have forgotten. I want to remind you of. But first, as always, let's go ahead and take a look here at the charts. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because my partner, the TA Wizard, maybe you've heard of him, TA Tim, he goes really hard on the charts every single morning here at 8:30 a.m. So there's a video out right now. If you don't give a crap about the news, guys, I don't blame you for totally just shutting this one down. If you haven't watched TA Tim's video yet, shut this bad boy down and go watch that TA video. Because I'm going to be covering the news. I cover the charts a little bit, but I cover it at a very, very high level. I don't go very in depth. But let's go ahead and take a look at those charts, guys. 35,000. I tweeted about it, and here it is. We got, finally, a candle to close above $35,000 for Bitcoin on both the daily and the 4-hour. And so that's really nice to see. That's very bullish, right? Very bullish. And I'm going to give you my take at the end of this video of whether or not I'm buying more Bitcoin here. And so we're going to have a lot of fun. But this is the charts right here for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Ethereum. You know, seeing some upside as well, too. Got the buy rating here from Chart Prime on the daily and also the green trend assist. So that's a lot of fun. Before we get into the news, let's go ahead and see who all is in the chat. I see Army Piper saying, yo, I'm seeing a new name here, Donato Cabrera. New name to my eyes. You may have been watching for a while, and I appreciate that. Red Elephant, it looks like he was first. Probably not, though, because where I'm pulling the comments from always scrambles them all up. Eric Wallen said, hello. What is up, Eric? Gary C. said, GM. All right. Luigi Fibonacci say, hey, good morning. Question, Big Poppy. Are we not doing streams in the afternoon? What gives us it morning or afternoon? Okay, so good question, guys. So the Investing Bros, we go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the public on YouTube, okay? Tuesdays and Thursdays, we go live only for our members, and all the information for that is in the Discord. So excellent question there, Luigi. If you want to catch us live for free on YouTube, go ahead and tune in 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And also, every single day at 9 a.m., I'll be bringing you the news. Every single weekday, that is. I'll be bringing you the news, and TA Tim will be bringing you the TA. It's pretty much the same time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Saturdays as well, we do a free show at 11 a.m. We love making content for you guys. This is our genuine passion. We're not making a ton of money from it yet. You know, we're just doing it for the love, and we're doing it for you. So definitely tune in when it's free, and consider joining and becoming a member to the Investing Bros YouTube channel. We have a ton of fun there in the paid versions of the content. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the news here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to start here with the big headline news. The SEC has served PayPal a subpoena relating to the firm's stablecoin. Okay, so let's get into some of the details here. On November 1st, that was yesterday here, we received a subpoena from the United States SEC Division of Enforcement relating to PayPal USD stablecoin. The subpoena requests the production of documents. Reads the report. The payment firm said it is cooperating with authorities. Well, I would hope so. A subpoena from the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission is a legally enforceable request for documents, testimony, or other evidence issued as part of the agency's investigative authority into potential violations of federal securities law. Okay, so that would be coming short of an accusation. I mean, this is just Decrypt.com's explanation of a subpoena, but this would be kind of where this is headed. Right, accusation from the SEC of a violation of federal securities law. Neither PayPal nor Paxios, the stablecoin issuer, responded immediately to Decrypt's request for comment. But in August, PayPal and crypto infrastructure provider Paxios announced that the duo would enter the stablecoin race with their PYUSD offering. This was pretty big news at the time, reportedly backed by treasuries, dollar deposits, and other cash equivalents. The stablecoin is expected to be pegged to the US dollar and run on Ethereum. Now, this was quite a big risk for PayPal. I was surprised when this happened because of something like this, the potential for something like this to happen. It's very, very risky, right? And PayPal is a to the T a compliant company, right? They're an American registered company. They also have shares on the open market, right? So this is something it's it happened long enough ago that I don't think folks really, it's not really been a big deal because there's been so much that's happened in between now and then. Back in August when they first released their stablecoin, or at least announced that they would. Okay, but this is a big deal, guys, because this is signaling to me that even though the SEC has basically said, that these spot ETFs are, in some way, they haven't said it directly, right? The SEC hasn't said it. But Hester Pierce absolutely has said that she doesn't know why there isn't one out yet, a spot ETF. In light of what the SEC could be generally viewed as somewhat thawing, right, towards crypto, especially after its loss against Ripple and loss against several other cases in crypto, you could kind of see that it's thawing, or at least losing, right? So what this, to me, is an unfortunate tick in the opposite direction, right, of the SEC saying, okay, you got us one time with the left hook, then you got us with the right hook, okay, but we're getting back up, and we're not going down without a fight, right? And that's just, if anything else, it's just costly, right? It's costly on the crypto ecosystem. Now, it looks like it's going to be PayPal. It's going to be serving up the attorney fees here, which, it's hard to shed a tear for PayPal because they're, multi-$100 million company. So I think that they'll be okay, going up against the SEC. Another thing to note here is there actually hasn't been any charges according to this Decrypt article, right? All that there is just a subpoena. Now, if you're getting subpoenaed in reference to a stablecoin that you've issued as a U.S. compliant security issuer on the New York Stock Exchange, that is going to be an issue. And PayPal, again, I said it at the front end of this story. I thought that they took a pretty big risk here by issuing a stablecoin, but their legal team let it happen. They took the risk. I think that they're probably more than capable of defending themselves. All right, now that's an interesting juxtaposition to the following headline, which is actually from yesterday, right? Many of you may have already seen this, but PayPal UK unit registers as a crypto service provider. So here is kind of the juxtaposition, right? Is that in the United States, the SEC, the regulatory body, is serving up a subpoena saying, hey, we don't like what you're doing, PayPal. We need more information because we're putting a case together to sue your butt, and we're going to get all your money and we're going to shut you down, right? Maybe not in so many words and maybe not that aggressively, but that's essentially what is happening here in the United States. Across the pond in the UK, PayPal just got the green light, right? So that is the difference. That is unfortunate for the United States, right? Because it's yet again another moment where the U.S. seems to be falling behind in this race of crypto. Now, what I will say about that kind of that meta question is the U.S. falling behind? Absolutely, right now it is. I mean, every great mind in crypto that I've heard commenting on this question has absolutely agreed unanimously that the United States is falling behind in crypto. You think of leaders, you think of really the UAE. I mean, the UAE probably, to me, is kind of far and away the leader in terms of if you were going to move, right, if you're going to relocate yourself and your millions of dollars, the UAE is probably your number one bet, right? But then you also have other places, like Switzerland, perhaps. And then you have a bunch of other countries, too, that are maybe as good. El Salvador comes to mind, right? But the UAE really leads the pack. Now, the U.S. could flip the switch just like that. And I think that would suck, right, for places like the UAE. And it would suck for, all these other countries that have kind of, Puerto Rico, another great example, that have been able to, entice crypto investors into their country with favorable laws, having zero taxes, zero capital gains on crypto, I believe in the UAE's case, not having any restrictions on what you can own. So if the U.S. does flip the switch, which I think they will eventually, whether it's going to take an act of Congress to oust Gary Gensler, or if Gary Gensler himself, has a change of heart, whatever that's going to be, I do think there will be a switch flipped at some point, and that is going to be very bullish for crypto. Well, speaking of things that are bullish for crypto, this one is specifically bullish for one of my favorite tokens. And let's take a look at it. It's this. The Hello Labs has released its white paper, okay? So for a long time, actually a couple weeks ago when I did my portfolio reveal on a Saturday show a Saturday edition of the Investing Bros show, I revealed that I actually have quite a bit of Hello Labs token, right? But the caveat was I didn't want anybody to, FOMO into this project because they hadn't released their white paper, and that is a huge red flag, right? That's the word I'll use. That's a red flag. Now, I gave it some slack, right? I gave the project some slack because a lot of the founders and a lot of the operators for the project are coming from the media industry, and they made frankly, they made a compelling case that they don't need no stinking white paper for a while. That was compelling to me, at least. Well, now that's a moot point, because it's out. The white paper's here. You can see they've got these different sections: Hello Ecosystem, the strategy pillars, Hello TV, Hello Arcade, the tokenomics, which is going to be really interesting, how to buy Hello, audits, the core team, and a lot more. So you can check it out here. There's the founder, Paul Castellan. I actually have some Telegram messages with him. He said he's going to come on the show in later December. So he'll come on the Investing Bros and talk a little bit more about the Hello Labs project. I won't go too much into the Hello Labs project, but guys, they want to be essentially the future of crypto and entertainment. A Web3 ecosystem built around producing and incubating, distributing exclusive TV shows and games. And I believe that this project has legs. Right? I don't know that they're going to be the number one crypto entertainment company, but their first products are very promising. All right, well, a man who knows a thing or two about releasing products is Mike Novogratz, and he is the subject of our next story. Now, this is an old story, okay, but this is remaining true. Okay, well, let me point out that Mike Novogratz, he said a spot Bitcoin ETF will be approved in 2023, and he has not changed his mind on that. So this man here, the CEO of Galaxy Digital, he came out with a very bullish prediction, right, that the spot ETF would come out in 2023. It hasn't, but he also hasn't changed his prediction. So just wanted to point that out for you guys. And the reason I'm zooming in on this specific story that's about a month old at this point is because if you're thinking about taking short positions in Bitcoin, really in any crypto, unless you have a high level of certainty because you know something that the rest of the market doesn't, I would be very careful taking short positions, guys, because there's nothing keeping the SEC from approving BlackRock's ETF tomorrow, or approving any of the ETFs tomorrow, right? Now they probably won't, right? But they could. And if they do that, you are going to get absolutely shattered if you are short. Now, I've been tempted because if you look at the Bitcoin charts, Tim and I have shown that it looks like a Bart Simpson's pattern, which can play out bearish, right? Meaning a lot of the upside, the 10%, potential upside, could be given back to the market. Let me show you what I mean on the charts. Okay, so we were kind of seeing a Bart Simpson pattern right here. As it shot up, plateaued, it could have come back down. Now, in the last 24 hours, that Bart Simpson pattern may have become fully invalidated. I'm going to leave that to Tim to decide whether it has or not. For me, this is looking pretty bullish. You get a pull away from the top of the top Bollinger Band, right? But then you have a resumption higher. That's pretty bullish, in my opinion. But I have been tempted to take a position in this ETF right here, the reverse price action of Bitcoin, right? I've been tempted. Look at this. Gaps, all in there. Gaps that could potentially be filled. Now, I don't think that the same gap rules apply here to Biddy. I just don't, because I think that has more to do with how much Bitcoin price moves during trading sessions that Biddy does not trade in. We can talk about that more in the Discord sometime, but ultimately, I would discount the gaps. The gaps are not relevant here. But ultimately, it's been tempting to go short Bitcoin because of how much of an aggressive move we've seen to the upside. But here is why I'm not doing it, and why I would discourage folks from doing it. Not financial advice. Is this right here? This prediction from this very sage guide in the crypto space. Okay, let's move on, guys. Hopefully you get the point. Well, someone who couldn't move on is SBF. Jury will decide if FTX's SBF will go to prison starting today. So the sentencing looks like it's starting today. Let's see if there's any details here. Man, I would not want to be in his shoes today. The prosecution and defense were both able to give their closing arguments on November 1st, thereby paving the way for the jury to begin deliberating on a verdict for each charge starting on November 2nd. However, before then, the prosecution will have a chance to make a concluding argument, which is known as a rebuttal. Okay. So probably not a lot more details other than just describing the process, which is going to put us all to sleep. So ultimately, we will probably, maybe by the weekend or maybe Monday or Tuesday, we'll have a verdict. I'm not sure. It could come a lot later than that. I'm not a legal timeline expert by any means, but we should have a verdict here pretty soon on what's going to happen to old SBF, who didn't know when to quit. He didn't know when to quit, and just call it. Guys, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're taking people's money and you're FOMOing into crazy degen coins that you really don't know anything about, you're getting tips on Telegram, you need to check yourself, and you need to exit the building as soon as possible and issue apologies. That's the lesson that we've learned from the SBF saga. Because it can happen. It can happen. You can get lulled into an ethical sleep where you forget about how you should act as a human being, and you might find yourself doing some really illegal or shady things, but it's not too late, right? You got to know when to quit. You got to know when to stop. And that goes not just for illegal stuff, right? But if you're working too hard, right? If you're going to get burned out, you got to take a break. You got to take a break. Don't underestimate how much a little bit of water, a little bit of hydration can go a long way, guys. If you're not drinking water at work, right, or even at play, you got to drink water. You got to stay hydrated. I drink water. I drink probably 3 or 4 cups of water a day, right? Hydration is extremely key, and go for walks. Go get some exercise, right? I'm not saying that these things are going to prevent you from mismanaging billions of dollars of funds, right? But these things are going to help you hopefully keep a little bit of a level head and help you appreciate life and make you not so greedy, perhaps. So it's the simple things. Get good sleep, right? At least 8 hours of sleep every night if you can. And, just care about those around you. We have in our description, give your mom a call and tell her that you love her, right? It's the simple things. Rekindle those connections to old friendships, right? Apologize if you need to apologize to people. If you have debts to pay those debts. All of these things are going to free you from that which is stressing you out, right? There's a difference between being stressed out because you're not living healthy mentally or physically, right? There's a difference between that and being stressed out because you're trying to achieve a goal. That is good stress, right? You need to stress yourself out to be the best you can be, to reach goals that have not been reached before, right? You think Michael Phelps got to where he got, all those gold medals, without being stressed out? No, he absolutely worked his butt off to get there, right? And he was certainly stressed out. But he did it all. He made it happen. And he is a lot more impressive than SBF at this point, who is likely going to go to jail, in my prediction, and possibly prison. All right, let's take a look here at the next story, which is actually a pretty interesting one. It gives us a little bit of an idea of the timeline for some of these ETFs. We've talked about here Mike Novogratz's prediction that we'll get it by the end of the year. I also have it on semi-good authority. Well, good authority, but it's not public information yet of when the ETF might be coming out in December. So, again, I don't know any better than anybody else, but I did hear it from some media that is yet to be released. And maybe there'll be some more details on that soon. All right, let's take a look here at the timeline. As you can see, the Bitcoin Spot ETF timeline as follows. The Grayscale wins SEC lawsuit for Bitcoin ETF review. That was a lot of fun back in what is that? September. And then you also have the SEC delays ARK ETF. We remember that. And then the SEC will not appeal Grayscale case. Okay, that was in October. That was very recently. And in fact, it seemed to be another development on that today, but I'm not going to, it looked like, or no, it was Ripple. I'm sorry, I'm getting those confused. Grayscale and Ripple are the ones that have victories over the SEC recently. Cointelegraph tweets false news about BTC spot ETF approval. You remember that? Remember the fake news week? There was a lot of fake news. There's also fake news that it was like Roblox that had partnered with XRP. You guys remember that? We reported that because it was on very legitimate websites, but that turned out to be completely false. Then BlackRock, ARK, Fidelity amends Bitcoin ETF prospectus. And then finally, much more recently, BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin ETF ticker listed on a clearing firm, which doesn't need to mean very much, but it is, a logical next step. but that is not it's not a step that you can't come back from. We've learned you can list it, and then you can delist it, and then you can list it again, and it doesn't really matter. All right, well, let's look into the future here. We've got a couple of, or this isn't. Yeah, this has got some future dates on it. So the next deadline here is that is in light blue here is January 15th of 2024, and that is going to be the iShares Bitcoin Trust deadline. That's I believe that is not that's not the next decision that has to be made. It looks like there's some decisions down here for Franklin, which I believe is Franklin Templeton. Maybe that's a spinoff of Franklin Templeton. But that's going to be here in November 17th. So there should be a decision on the 17th coming up. And then there's a second deadline wave that pushes those out to the 1st of January. But then so the one after that would be here, the Global X Bitcoin Trust refiling decision, which is November 21st. So 17th is next up, and then you've got the 21st, and then you've got the 1st. But all of these are not BlackRock, right? And they're also not 21 shares / ARK Invest, right? Which are, another one that could be going first. But the going theory is that they'll all go out at the same time, because as kind of wacky as Gary is, you'd like to think that he'd want to leave a legacy of at least some kind of fairness to these new ETFs of a burgeoning Wild West industry that is crypto. So anyway, we've got a final deadline here also of the 1st, and this is a really important one right here, guys. The 10th of January. This is a final deadline. So I think this might be a make or break deadline for ARK Invest, right? So if they say no to this one, if the SEC denies this one, this might be the last time that they can say yes or no, which would mark the definitive time, right? Because if I'm the SEC, what is the argument for I deny the ARK Invest ETF filing, and I've had at least 5 months to revise this application with them, and I say no to them, but then I say yes to BlackRock. What would be the justification for that? There is none, right? So that really marks that they have to either make the positive decision before then, a positive decision then, or a negative decision then. And I think that ultimately they're probably gonna wait till the final hour on January 10th, and they're gonna make that decision. Now, can they potentially file for an extension? That's possible. So the market will be baking in the 10th / 11th of January as a pretty big day, and then the question will become: could they file an extension? I would imagine. Now, there might be a process for the SEC to file that extension. I don't know. That would be beyond me. That might be something that if somebody in the chat knows, that would be good to let me know. Speaking of the chat, seeing French Toaster said, "Hola." GS said, "Black coffee can be considered like water." And then Army Piper said, "I care about you, T-Shroom," which is so nice. I appreciate that. T-Shroom is coffee. Is coffee water? I don't know. I must have misspoke there and said that coffee is water. Coffee is a dehydrant. Okay, so you don't want to drink coffee and think that you're hydrating yourself. I'm drinking a little bit of coffee right now. Got my Rise and Shine mug. Look at that. But you definitely want to drink plenty of water. Drop a 1 in chat if you agree that hydration is important. And let me know, how do you hydrate? Oh, man, we're having fun. But no, seriously, drop us a like. We work really hard and try to bring you guys the most up-to-date information that's going to be affecting your portfolio every single day at 8:30 with the TA and 9:30 and 9 o'clock here with more of the news. So, we try to do our best, and we have a lot of fun. Guys, today is Thursday, so we will be live on the Discord, right? The paid Discord. There is a link to the Discord in the description of this here video. You can find our Discord and sign up. And you do that through becoming a member of the YouTube channel. So that's going to be something that works out for you really, really well. We have a lot of fun in the Discord at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be today for Bro Time. We call it Bro Time. It's really more of an informal live show, right? Where we're just, especially in the Discord, where you can actually come up on the stage and talk with us and ask us questions. And, a lot of times we'll just let the community kind of take control and just, say what they're buying, what they're selling. I'll tell you that I am, we've got a little bit of time here. Kind of my mantra, so we'll be going live at 3 p.m. in the paid Discord. But my mantra right now is don't buy overbought cryptos, right? And there's a lot of them out there, Solana being one of them. My mantra right now is to try to find the deals that are still there. Obviously, there's a gigantic amount of bullishness in the market, and the fact that, Novogratz has not revised his prediction, and then basically the SEC has until, very early in January 10th, to make a decision on the ARK Invest, a final decision. There's a lot of bullish frenzy, right? A lot of bullish frenzy kind of getting whipped up, right? So I don't want to be short, and I certainly don't want to be short, but I also, I'm starting to question how much of this dry powder really should be on the sidelines, how much of it should be deployed, right? How much of it should be allocated, right? But then it's like, okay, well, what are the names I really want to buy? Because a lot of these are overbought. And knowing crypto, there's going to be some kind of retest lower. Now, I leave it to the pros, Army Piper and TA Tim, leave it to the pros to try to figure out exactly where the retest will be and if there's going to be a retest or a leg higher. But ultimately, I like to continue to DCA, and I would like to deploy a lot more capital here. Hopefully, if we could get Bitcoin back to 25,000, but it's looking like probably only 30,000 will be another entry point for Bitcoin. We'll see. We shall see. Could be the SEC is trying to FUD the market today with this PayPal subpoena, right? But is the price really paying attention? No. It doesn't really care. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me. I've been T-Shroom here for the Investing Bros, bringing you guys the latest news. And I will see you in the Discord today. And I will see you at 3 p.m. on Friday. So 3 p.m. tomorrow. And we're going to have a lot of fun. I have been T-Shroom, in for the Investing Bros. Stay hydrated, stay healthy, and make sure that you give your mom a call and tell her that you love her. Have a great rest of your day.
Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.